Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of my ultimate guide. This episode I'm covering Yggdrasil with Domination and Payload map. If you haven't seen part 1 already of my guide, please check it out first, as a lot of the strategies I use in this video is from there. So let's waste no time and get to the maps. I'm starting with Domination first. So for the Royal Gardens, which is the outdoor map, I'll do the basic rollout here before I get to... So I normally grapple this wall, place the web at your feet for the extra move speed, and then you can grapple over to these stairs and you're basically at a point already. It's really fast. This map is super simple, guys. This is classic Peni. Basic spot is behind the tree. This extends all the way around. It's in a really safe spot. You extend it with webs. The only way to destroy it is by peeking around the edge. A lot of the time I'll place piles of mines on where they're coming through. They walk through, try and peek it, and they die. Okay? Basic stuff. This map is really easy, guys. A lot of the time on these domination maps, capturing the point is the most important thing. If you've captured the point first, you're going to have a really easy time with this map. However, if you don't have control of the map, and let's say you're starting from here and you're trying to push up, poke at off angles. You don't really want to go main on these domination maps because it's really difficult for Peni to take space on her own. A lot of the time, if you're trying to walk main, just go different tank. Peni is not the tank for where you can walk through choke and push onto the point. It's not very good. Domination maps, you want to be taking off angles. Normally I go around here. You can place the nest here. Poke around here. Even going behind. So just going all the way behind, looking at supports is your most ideal option, right? A secret spot on this map though is up in the tree. Up in the tree, especially when a big fight is going out on point or a stranger's TP'd onto point and there's a big fight, placing your nest up in this tree is really good, because a lot of times if a strange TP's, let's say up here, they come out of the TP, they'll back up, healing tanks, boom, then the spider drones will walk straight into them. It's really good. A lot of the times in these hectic fights, people won't look up to shoot the nest, so especially if there's a big fight breaking out, just stick it in the tree. Stick it in the tree as the fight goes on. Really good spot. That's basically it for this first map. So for Odin's Archives, guys, this is a very difficult map, especially if you don't know what you're doing. This map is very vertical. It's not very closed off. It's very open. Very difficult for Peni to set up on this map. So I'll run through how I play the map from spawn to the point. But a lot of the time, for this map, you don't want to play point. It's a rare case where you don't want to play point on domination. A lot of times, it's really good to hold the point because, you know, your area denial is so good. This is just one of those maps where you can't. It's too vertical. A lot of the times, it makes it way too easy for the nest to be destroyed or people to create angles. So, coming out of spawn here, you want to grapple, web at your feet for the move speed, grapple up on this wall, it makes it super simple. Again, web at the feet. I normally destroy this window right here, poke this down, grapple over here. If the enemies are coming through this spot or the window, I grapple to the left side, place the nest down. Then you chill here for a bit, okay? A lot of the times, teams are going to split up. Tanks are going to drop down onto this point to try and contest it. Your tank's going to be here, your supports are going to be back here. Now, this is the most important part. If you see, be very observative. If you see DPS as well drop, flank round. Until you see the DPS drop, don't go. Otherwise, you're going to die. So, wait for the DPS to drop. Go round. If you want to be really sneaky, if you see your team has a pick already or someone's been killed early on in the fight, you can place 3 mines in a web right here. So when they come out of spawn, they can die again. If you get lucky, right? If they walk in it, they can die again. Really good. So as you're flanking round, set your nest up, shoot the supports. If the supports drop, this is your opportunity to place three mines here, 3 mines over here. So as people come up the jump pad to contest you, they walk into these mines. People jump up to contest you from over here. They go onto these mines. Okay, it's really good. Especially when the staircase is destroyed, you get a really nice view on the point. So you see, I can see the whole point here. Sometimes support's still over here. We can throw some mines down here while shooting them. Over here, shooting. Really good. This is my basic push. Now, sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I don't go this left side. Sometimes I will just go straight to this elevator. Especially if I'm trying to push up. If I'm trying to push up, I'm going to go to this elevator. Place my nest in this corner. Now what this nest does is it denies this whole area for supports to drop down. A lot of the time, especially when things get a bit heated on point, where ults are going off, stuff like that, supports will sit here, they'll drop down from this high ground, and sit on this low ground. And as you drop, your camera doesn't allow you to see the nest, right? Really good. So they drop down, the nest will track them, they'll die. Especially when people aren't aware enough to see that. So that's also a good spot. Now, if you strange TP, a lot of the times strangers will TP straight onto point. If you TP and you're there on point before they do and the point hasn't unlocked yet, what I'd recommend doing is going to this spot, placing your nest down, jumping up, web here, spam mines, just in these both spots. If you really wanted to, you can use an extra web, and what this does is this is really good. The drones from this nest will travel up along this web and travel all the way along here for people who are sat on this window. It's really good. This is why I mine up this and this. A lot of the times DPS will sit here and try and get angles on people, and they're not usually worried about dying to mines here, like, because they want to get this angle. So yeah, this is a really good mine spot to put down. So 3 there, then stack the rest up here, because a lot of the times tanks come through here and they'll drop. DPS, tanks. You see, only 3 mines on this one, spam way more on this one. And that's basically it for this point. It makes this point super simple. Don't forget to keep moving your nests with you, because a lot of the times they might shoot this. Don't forget, as soon as you see them being shot, destroy it, go on a less cooldown. For overtime situations, you can just, if you want to contest point, like overtime, 99% type stuff, place the nest here, play on point with it. It'll get destroyed relatively fast, but it's overtime. You've got to be on the point. You can't not have the healing from your webs and stuff. And yeah, so when you have point control on this map too, instead of holding here, I see a lot of pennies set up here, or like webs up here, This is a good spot, don't get me wrong. Especially when the enemy's already grouped up and, shooting over here. This is a good spot, okay? However, especially when you've won a big team fight and everyone's dead, come say to your team, let's hold this corner. We'll hold this corner, this is really good for me. 1 web, 2 web. Stack webs on this back wall. If the enemy has a magneto, they're going to see the web and be like, there's going to be mines in this. So they hug the wall so they can see the nest. You see, if you hug the wall, you can see the nest here. Or if you walk up here, you can't see it. You see? So a lot of times people will instinctively hug this wall and try and shoot the nest. This is really good, so when they peek this, it's just guaranteed kill with these mines. It becomes super oppressive, this spot, especially if you can keep stacking mines down. So if your mines are on cooldown, use your ult. You see in the bottom left, I have 7 mines. I can spam 7 mines on this wall here, and that's enough to kill a tank. You guarantee this hold for your team. Really good as it stops the DPS from creating off angles and stuff like this. The only way they can go is through the bottom end here, which is you have high ground over them. This is really bad if they come through here, and really good for you. If they decide to go up this jump pad and go around, they're still in a spot where you can move the nest back. So if they come through here, you can move the nest back to the previous spot I showed you, and this is where you'll hold. Don't do this first, do that first. Only do this if you can't do that, if that makes sense. So for Throne Room, this is also a pretty tricky map. It's super open, and again, some places it's vertical. Verticality is not very good for Peni, since the nest can be shot top down, the webs don't really expand vertically, if that makes sense. So I'll cover what I do. So for right side, especially if you're not strange TPing, you want to go around here. Again, using the technique of shooting webs at your feet to get there faster. Now, instead of going here, where a lot of teams hold, like a lot of teams have like a little kerfuffle over here, you know, on this high ground. Instead, I'll come around this left side, place my nest around here, or at this corner. Some mines in front of me. Poke supports. Supports can be here, they can't see the nest. You see how it extends a little bit here? You can extend it around here if they're being a bit aggressive. You can shoot people. Don't forget to throw mines out at the supports, like I mentioned in the first part of my guide. And you can harass. Now, if you see their team push far up into your team and their supports are left behind, use your mobility, guys. Use your mobility to go on their supports. Bring your nest with you. Try and pressure their supports, because as long as you've got both supports on you right now, don't do this when there's no DPS around and it's just the supports. You're stopping their whole team from getting heals. So they'll overextend without any heals, and your team will be able to clean them up relatively easily. So for when you're holding point, or if you TP point, placing it under here, you can destroy this bit so people fall in the nest. I normally just extend the web, place some mines here, this really good spot for some mines. And this is for securing point. A lot of the time, supports, again, will either hold this high ground, which you can look at, grapple up, 1v1, you know, go and 1v1 these isolated DPS and supports that hold these high grounds. They do it all the time. Even in high ranks, even in Eternity lobbies, one above all lobbies, Celestial lobbies, you'll have one DPS or a support just holding up here. Grapple up to them, contest them. Really important. You can leave your nest down here, because if they drop, they'll obviously die. So when you've got this point, and if you've captured it, so this is all in terms of the point hasn't been unlocked yet. When you have captured the point, if they push low ground, nest here, web, mines, web, mines. It's that simple. That's your setup. And now if they go high ground, corner, so just a good spot. Extend it over. Stack a load of mines up. Hold them here. It becomes virtually impossible to push through. And this is why being the first to capture the point on Peni is super important. So if you're holding this, unless they rotate down here, they will never get past this, ever. As long as you manage your mines properly and stuff like that. Now, if you don't have the mines, again, use your ult if you have it, because it can stack spider drones up, the mines up. Really easy setup. Like I said in the last map, always be taking off angles, especially when pushing through chokes, because you need that pressure for your other tank to walk through. Since if you're pushing through the choke, just go strange on mag. There's no point running Peni if you're going to sit and choke. So you want to be taking off angles, looking at their DPS, trying to look at their supports. Genuinely just being a nuisance. It's not really as easy as saying these are the best spots, especially for domination. The only time where that's true is on the first map that I showed you. On these maps, they change. They change frequently, especially on these maps where they've got high verticality. You need to be moving around a lot. You can't sit in one spot. Take off angles, guys. Take off angles. See, I can hold this high ground up here. It's a really good spot. Nest safely in the corner. If anyone wants to contest me, they'll have to go through all the nest damage. So you genuinely want to be moving around a lot. Staying in one spot isn't ideal for domination, because a lot of the time they'll find one angle that counters the nest and they'll keep doing it. They'll keep repeating it over and over again. So just make sure to be moving constantly, taking off angles. That's my biggest advice for these domination maps. Okay, so for my favorite Convoy map for Peni. This map is so good for Peni. However, I see a lot of people playing this map wrong. I've seen a lot of nest guides on YouTube which tell you to do the wrong places. There's so much you can do on this map, there's so much versatility, and to be honest, I don't think I've even explored all the opportunities on this map. There's so many different things you can do. So, I'll do defense first, I'll do defensive spots. They're easy, they're simple. For attack, it gets a bit more complicated, you're going on different flank routes and stuff like that. Hold for this map, that I always do, and it's so fun, is hold in this little room down here, bottom left. And I stack mines, as many mines as I can on this one web. You can extend it out if you want, but sometimes you miss your stun and it gets rid of the web. So the basic idea here is to bunker, stack mines at the entrance. As the payload's moving around, you can shoot, fire out, you know. A lot of the time, the supports will be back here, you know. The tanks will be trying to push up. If a tank sees you and he's like, yeah, this guy's annoying me, he's going to push up, die to the mines, right? A lot of the time, they'll try and push you, especially if you're being really, really annoying. If they ignore you, what you can do is you can contest on this corner. You see at the top, it says that one person's on it. If the team pushes past and ignores you, even the supports, or if the support's just here, hold the supports here and hold the payload here. This forces them to come and turn around for you, because their supports can't kill you on their own. They don't have the damage, especially with your web healing. You get a kill, you get 2 kills, and then you get out. Now what this does is, especially if your team dies, it gives your team a chance to regroup, because they're 2 or 1 down. Especially when they're 1 or 2 down, they can't push any further, otherwise they'll get team wiped. So it's really good to get a pick and get out, because they will rush you and they will try to kill you, so always try and get out. For when they've pushed past and you can't run that room anymore, usually after I die once, I'll start running this room. This room is like a bit cheesy, it's a bit cheese. So as soon as they learn on how to counter it, which they might bait out the mines, or they might have a mag go in and bubble himself and then go around, or they might have a mag poke it from this angle, because if you're a Magneto, you can actually kind of shoot the nest there. As soon as they learn that, I move to this spot. You put this nest in this little crevice here between the staircase, and it extends all the way out here. It's super good. As you can see, any tank on the front line can't see the nest. As they get up, still can't see the nest, still can't see the nest, still can't see the nest, and they can only just see the nest here. And what you can do is you can extend it down, and you're basically covering this whole road, and they can't see it. They've got to push so far up. So that is the best spot, especially for when the car comes around the corner. Not in this corner. They can easily get this corner. So a lot of guides will tell you, put it in this corner, put it in this corner right here. What are they going to do? What are they going to do if they see that spot? They're going to come around into this corner and shoot it. That's why this spot is 10 times better. It hides it from all angles. Unless you push it. I can barely just see the top there. You see? Yeah, especially if you extend it, it becomes really difficult to push. Another spot in defense, if you want to be a nuisance, if the room isn't working. Let's say they have a Bucky or an invisible woman and they just keep hooking you out. This is also a really good spot. You put the nest in this corner here. Web, mines for if any flankers come around. Extend it, 1, 2. And you just hold this corner. Again, you can contest cat when it's at this corner. You can be a real nuisance. Place some mines here, so when they try and push you, they'll die. This spot, you can really dig yourself in here, because also, don't forget the supports can see you. So if they've pushed past this spot and this spot, or you lost a team fight and it all went wrong, when you retouch this point, especially with no restraint TP like regroup, let's touch again, setting up in this room and making a safe space for your supports is also really important. This gives a really nice spot for your supports to just sit and heal. It's really good. If you have an ult, even better. You can run out with your ult, cover the whole point, you know, stuff like that. So for second point defense, I hold this corner. I place some mines down here to stop people from coming up here. And then I'll just extend it here. This is a really good spot. You can hold, you can jiggle. Again, they can only see the nest when they push into it. Another good spot if you don't want to hold over here is in this bush. It's a pretty sneaky spot, but it's the best spot that you can find on this map. It's a bit rough, there's, you know, they can avoid being in it. But this is the best spot I've found on this map. It's a rough point, this first half. If you want to do it a little bit deeper, you can put it here, which can protect your supports. And if your supports are playing really, really far back, you can place it on this corner. You see? Really nice space, safe space for your supports. Now, if you've got a Rocket Punisher or another type of DPS that really wants to sit high ground, setting up nest on this point here is really good because it gives your DPS a nice little safe space to poke down and stuff like this. Protecting your DPS is also just as important as protecting your supports, because giving your DPS space allows them to just shoot freely. It's when they start getting contested that it becomes a problem. For when the cart is about here, so when the cart's about here, a lot of times it gets stuck here. Sometimes I'll place it in this doorway if they're just going to push up here. Place a few mines over here. You know, you can hold this corner pretty well. You can actually extend it down. You see how far it comes out? It's a nice spot. But apart from that, again, it's not a very good point. This second point is the most rough point on the map. Default spot is just over here behind this light. You see this little corner? You can shimmy it in there. Over here. I mean, it's the best you can do, really. However, the key part about defending on this point is your mine placements. Place 3 mines here when DPS want to take this high ground. So when they come through the doorway, they'll die. Really simple. A new spot I've been experimenting with is up here. If I can get it, it's really super weird. And you can hold up here. Mines out, you see it only comes visible about here. But sitting here, especially when they're all grouped up, it's really nice, really good to get some angles on. I'm not saying use this, I'm saying try it if you want to, you know, it's an interesting spot. But yeah, for the third part of this map, placing it behind this little wall here, and extending it up upon this this hill here, that's the best spot. People can take this high ground up here to shoot over it, which is where you can move it and hold up here with your DPS, because sometimes DPS walk up here. Again, like I said in Domination, don't be afraid to take off angles and flank round and stuff. It's always great to do that. You can make a lot of space for your team. So yeah, shooting up here, having the nest here, it's nice and safe. They have to push up to see it. Gives you all that healing, protects you if people want to jump up. Putting mines down on these flank routes, you can pick up some free kills. You know, if you don't want to use a web, you can always just put it on this wall here. Be careful though, as they can see the light. And that's about it for this third point. It's when we go into attack that it gets really interesting and where this map gets so fun. I normally flank into this room. Before setting up nest, I'm going to go and place 3 mines over here. I'll explain more later. Place your nest. Extend it with a web. Stack mines. Then, you have a full view of the whole enemy team. Choose to shoot the supports. So, shoot the supports. Throw mines out for the supports. Make sure to be topping up this pile here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. A lot of the times the DPS might come and try and contest you, where they'll die to the mines, get a free pick for your team. But a lot of the time, people will turn around and get so tunnel visioned on you. It gives your team so much space to work with. When you've killed someone and they're coming back from spawn, especially if someone dies super early on, they'll come round, walk through here, the mines will blow them up. Sometimes DPS think they're super smart and they'll come round here to go and shoot the nest, and they die to these mines as well. Another spot, if you want to hold high ground, which is really good, don't be afraid to push them and grapple up here and place your nest down and shoot them. This is also a good spot because you can set your nest up here, spam some mines out, shoot supports. Don't forget to place 3 mines here before you start shooting as well, guys. Because again, like I said, always set up mines before you start shooting. Because if a DPS want to come up here, like a Psylocke, want to dash up here, the mines will kill her. So for second point, as soon as you hit second point, this choke is super rough. So what I'll do is I'll break this window, grapple up, try and ignore them, go behind like this, and then I can take this high ground, shoot from behind, or I can set it instead. I can go through this window, place here, shoot. You basically, like I said on the domination maps, be agile, be you know, mobile. You don't want to stay in one spot, especially on attack, where they can find one angle and just start shooting. Because as soon as the DPS know, and tanks know that you're going to be going up here, they'll be always up here after you. A stranger will always fly up. Star-Lords will always come for you. It happens all the time to me. So if you see, all the enemies are holding low ground, no one's contesting this high ground. Come around here. You can shoot people if you want to. You can come up here and hold up here. Flip the map on them. And then you can also rotate around here if they're being, you know, pushed back. So yeah, aim to be taking off angles, especially on attack. Again, there's no specific nest spots since you're not sitting main. But by taking off angles like this, you can really make some space for your team and get some kills. Like I said, if the supports are here, you can just spam mines and try to get kills. This is where all the skill expression comes from, and this is why I said good Peni players will abuse this mobility, because you can just be constantly moving around and forcing the enemy team in spots they aren't comfortable in. So for example, if I move over to here, I can get a really good angle on the supports. There's so many different angles on this map where you can take against supports, especially on this main part. So always keep that in mind. Also, for when you're attacking and you're up 1 or 2, if you press tab and you see people on a 10-second respawn, gun it to their spawn. Place your nest here, the spawn door will be here and here. Web. 3 mines on the right side first, because they'll go through the right side to get out. And then start stacking the left side. This abuses supports and DPS with no mobility, because they have no way of coming out of spawn without swapping characters and gutting their ult charge. It's so good. You can really hostage some people. And it's so worth to hostage people if you're holding 2 or more people. So, sometimes I'll be spawn camping one person, this guy will be screaming to his team saying he can't play. So someone from their team is going to come and try and contest me to get them out of this jail. Having one support to heal a whole team is a death sentence in team games especially. So hostaging a DPS that's hard carrying the game, or a support that's just pumping heals into the front line, helps the team so much. When people do realize that you are spawn camping, they will try and come and help. A lot of the time they'll start losing, so they have to turn around, and that's where you can just run away. Sometimes I'll go up here, wall climb up on here. You can actually make it through this window, or you can grapple to this stairway and go back up here. So for third point, you got some decent options here. First option, you can come grapple up here, go through this doorway. You've got a nice flank where you can place the nest down here, place some mines down behind, start poking. The supports might back up into them, or you could drop out of this doorway, grapple up here, place mines, place your nest down here, and now you've got this whole high ground to yourself. Place some mines to defend yourself, and then you can just keep poking. Just keep harassing the supporters. You're going to be a complete nuisance. This is why Peni gets banned from me literally every game. I think it's because I'm just super annoying. Now, especially when you're snowballing and your team's pushed through this point, you've gotten some kills, you can dash across this high ground, place your nest down, because you know, you got to protect it at all times, guys. It's literally your baby. You can actually snipe some mines over at the spawn here. So any squishies that got picked off, anytime they walk through here, they can die straight out of spawn. When you've reached past this corner, placing the nest here, trapping up this flank route right here, and actually holding the space that your team has made is also really good. This is probably one of the few few parts on Escort where I'd recommend actually staying with your team. So they're stuck in this absolutely atrocious spot on this map. This high ground actually kind of dictates this point a lot. So holding this for your team makes a really big difference. And that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this type of video, leave a like, show your support, and I'll do more maps. But any improvements, let me know, guys, and stay tuned. Make sure to hit the sub button so you don't miss any videos. See you guys later.